Okay, let's do section 4.3. We're talking about transformations now. You may have talked about it in Algebra 1 a little bit, but today we're talking about it in geometry. So transformations. In the plane, they move or change a figure to produce a new figure. A rigid motion transformation that preserves length, angle, and measure and area. So rigid motion means nothing really changes about the figure, it just moves. A rigid motion is also called isometry. Translations, reflections, and rotations are examples of rigid motions. Something to add into your notes, a translation is a slide, a reflection. I don't know what else to say about that, other than you can think of a mirror. Oh, a flip. I got the word. And a rotation is a turn. A slide, a flip, and a turn. Remember, two figures are congruent if and only if the corresponding sides and the corresponding angles are congruent. Okay, equal. Okay, congruent figures and transformation. Two figures are congruent if and only if one or more rigid motions can be used to move one figure onto the other. If any combination of translations, reflections, and rotations can be used to move one shape onto the other, the figures are congruent. So you need to imagine with me that these figures are congruent, a translation. So this is A, and it slides onto B, and they are congruent. Okay, a reflection, figure A flips onto figure B, and they are congruent. Rotation, this one's my worst drawing, I apologize. Figure A rotates onto figure B, and believe it or not, they are congruent. Alright, let's do an example. Describe the rigid motions to show congruence. Describe the transformations you can use to move the blue figure onto the red figure. Okay, here we're just doing a rotation. Rotation about P. And for B, first we're doing a translation, which is that slide. And then we're doing a flip. So first we slid it, then we flipped it. Sorry, let's use the correct terminology. Can't spell. Reflection. There we go. Okay, you try. Describe the transformations you can use to move the blue figure onto the red figure. You can see there's a green figure in between, so you're going to have two answers. So push pause and try it on your own. There we go. Number 1, first we did a translation. We slid it, and then a rotation about P. Number 2, first we did a translation, and then a reflection over the line. Alright, explain why figure A and figure B are not congruent using transformations. This one may be difficult because you're not sure if they're equal or not, but sometimes if you just take your piece of paper and trace it on your paper from the book, you'll be able to see that. You see here, I use red. Now let's just stick with black. If I look at A, okay, first we slid it, and it did not change. Then, if we rotated it, if you see the green on top of the red, okay, this is all extra. Okay, from green to red, it's not a congruent shape. So we translate it and then reflect figure A to compare it to figure B. Although some of the corresponding sides are congruent, the corresponding angles are not all congruent, so the figure is not congruent. Alright, quilting. The quilt shown is made using a repeating pattern. Describe the transformation that moves figure A onto figure B. If we look right here, figure A and B, they're two squares or diamonds. This is either a translation, it looks like they just slid it from A to B, but it can also be a reflection. Because if we don't pay attention to the colors, just the figures, then just the shapes, it's a reflection. And it can also be a rotation. Any one of those would be a correct answer. Alright, let's explain why figures C and D are congruent by using the marked angles and sides. Let's look at it. If you look, all the corresponding sides and angles are congruent. So that's why they're congruent. All the corresponding sides and all the pairs of corresponding angles are congruent. All sides, all corresponding is a very important word. Let's get that. Corresponding sides and corresponding angles are congruent. Tell whether the two figures in the quilt are congruent or not congruent. If they are congruent, describe the transformations you can use to move figure A onto figure B. Let's see, if I look at figure A, I'm going to try to draw that. Figure A that was bad. Let's try that again. A little bit better. Sorry for the bell. If you see figure A, it's a little tower. Then figure B. If you look at the pieces there, it's sort of hard to see, but this base here is actually skinnier than this base here. Okay, and this piece is a little, I was going to say fatter, that's probably not appropriate. A little bigger, much better, right? Than this piece here. So they are not congruent. And if you look at number 4, okay, it looks like from here to here, I've just done a reflection along this line. Okay, it also looks like it could be a rotation about a point down here, a rotation. Here's your daily homework quiz. Pretty short lesson today, I know. So try this one and try that one. And there's really no reason why you can't get your 2 little extra credit points. That's it. We'll see you tomorrow.